Since the launch of the military campaign in Ukraine more than 3 years ago, the world has watched as Russia, led by President Vladimir Putin, has become increasingly entangled in a war that shows few signs of ending. While some see this as a reckless venture that may lead to Russia's downfall, others believe it's a defensive action aimed at protecting Russian sovereignty from the perceived threat of the West. But as we approach the end of 2024, a key question arises: does Russia truly want peace, or is it playing a long game, calculating its next strategic move? Despite the imposition of tens of thousands of sanctions, Russia's economy remains relatively stable, with GDP growth and wages keeping pace with inflation. Putin's optimism regarding military gains, such as the control of 189 settlements in Ukraine and successful missile strikes against Western air defenses, contrasts with the growing war fatigue among the Russian populace. Domestic discontent is rising, with surveys showing that a large portion of the population still supports the war, but many are growing weary. Russia's actions seem geared toward prolonging the conflict, securing territorial gains, and altering Ukraine's political structure to prevent its integration into NATO and the EU. Strategic considerations. Putin's long-term ambitions appear to be focused on reinforcing Russia's geopolitical influence. Despite the apparent stability within Russia, the war has cost the country dearly. The loss of influence over former Soviet allies like Armenia and a growing isolation on the global stage signal that Moscow may have overreached. Simultaneously, internal economic and social challenges from labor shortages to a decaying civil infrastructure are becoming more pronounced. The Third Rome ambition, driving force behind Putin's actions, could be a revival of the Third Rome concept, a vision of Russia as the spiritual and political successor to the Byzantine Empire. However, this ambition has backfired, with Russia's military actions driving former allies away and leaving Moscow isolated. Looking ahead as Russia faces mounting internal and external challenges, its leadership must decide: continue a costly and draining conflict, or seek a resolution that maintains its strategic interests. The decision to press on with the war may be rooted in the desire to secure territorial gains and ensure Ukraine's political transformation, but the cost of such an approach may be higher than anticipated, threatening Russia's own stability in the process. Russia's reluctance to end the conflict immediately stems from a desire to secure long-term strategic goals, territorial control, and a transformed political landscape in Ukraine rather than a quick peace. However, the longer the war drags on, the more Russia risks facing economic, social, and political instability at home. The future of Russia hinges on whether it can maintain internal support, sustain its military machine, and avoid a growing sense of defeat. For now, Russia remains locked in a precarious situation, unable to move forward without risking collapse, yet unwilling to pull back and appear weak.